Hannah here.
Balch here.
Kupczynski here.
Seipert here.
Chandler here.
Alrighty. Approval of minutes from October 22nd, 2024.
We have a correction.
All right.
First page. I made a motion on the first item, and then I also second the motion, which couldn't take place. Okay. Otherwise, I'd make a motion to approve the minutes of October 22nd, 2024.
Hannah seconds.
Alrighty. Roll call.
Hannah, I.
Balch aye.
Kupczynski, I.
Guzikowski, aye.
Seipert, aye.
Chandler, aye.
Alrighty. First up, plan unit development review a request submitted by David Decker, Decker Properties Inc. for amendments to existing plan unit development and conditions and restrictions affecting the Oaks.
Thank you, Alderperson Guzikowski. The item before you is to amend the planned unit development. This items A, B, and C are all related, but we'll take them separately. So first, the planned unit amendment is amending the conditions and restrictions. The Plan Commission and Common Council adopt a standard list of conditions and restrictions. Some of them are specific to the project, some items in there. And what is being requested is due to financial reasons, the lender is requesting to split the existing parcels at Oaks at 8100. So you can see before you, this is how the land was approved to be split when the planned unit development was originally approved in 2021. There's two parcels split by Orchard Way. You got your parcel, I'll call it on the west, the red, highlighted in red, and then the parcel on the east highlighted in blue. So they were lots 1 and 2 were created of CSM number 9404. The scope of the project is not changing at all. The project is continuing with construction of all the buildings that are before you on the site plan. Only 2 are not completed, and that's the pictures highlighting that A3 is not yet started. They're finishing up A2 right now, which you can see kind of in the background. And then A4 is yet to be constructed as well. But there's definitely progress on this development on one building at a time. So the proposal is to split what was red into the red and yellow, and then what was blue into the blue and green. And the request for the planned unit development is simply one number, a setback number that can't be met due to the lot split. And that number is highlighted or circled in red before you. So the request is to amend the conditions and restrictions with this one number. So that number used to be a 5. It required a 5-foot side yard setback for off-street parking. But you can see here the blue and the green are proposed to be split right down the middle of one particular parking lot. So therefore that 5-foot setback can't be met because it would become a 0-foot side yard setback in a parking lot. Other than that, the scope is absolutely nothing's changing other than literally this one number. But we do have to go through the PUD amendment process because of that, because it was specifically listed in the conditions and restrictions from 2021. The certified survey maps are separate agenda items, but right now this particular agenda item is recommended for approval to the Common Council to amend the attached conditions and restrictions. So you're therefore amending the PUD. A public hearing would be required, and that would be scheduled for the second council meeting in December.
Any comments or questions? Nothing?
Well, I have a question about the zero parking restriction. Why we allowed that, everything else we usually have 5 feet, and now we give them 0. I don't totally agree with that. So I'd like to have the represent step up and explain that 0 to me, because I don't agree with it. So
It's yeah,
The
Mr. Decker is
representative-
here. Mr. Decker is here, yes.
please stand up and give us your name and address, and then give me an explanation of that of the elimination of the 5 feet.
Sure. It's Dave Decker with Decker Properties, and my address is 250 North Sunny Slope Road in Brookfield. The reason for I don't know if you saw the picture, but there's as a matter of convenience, there's a split in the lots going right through the center of the parking lot. So I don't know, to have a setback, what would you ordinarily do there? Then you would have a 5-foot median or something through the parking lot. Really, I approached an engineer to make this lot division. If you want to know what's going on in the background, we put together our financing on this package with North Shore Bank, which is a wonderful bank that we've done business with since 1990. But we knew going in that they were not big enough to do the entire development. And North Shore Bank had intended to participate the loan with other banks. However, with the increase in interest rates that took place last fall and through this economic cycle, a lot of their participants felt that they could not participate or would not participate. And so we need to divide this so we can have another lender come in and have a first lien position on an additional parcel. Well, that's what's driving this. And so it results in some awkward circumstances, but in the absence of this, we would be building the exact same development the exact same way anyway. I don't know if that makes sense to you or not.
You're telling me you're not changing anything?
No.
other
No,
than-
structurally, this is the same thing all the way through. The picture that, I can see here, I don't know if it's what you guys can see or if it's in your package, but it's not a change to any of the construction at all. So, for example, if we decide not to go through with this, then we're just going to make a different financing arrangement and proceed to build the same thing anyway, and it's going to look the same either way.
It's just for financing convenience. It's the only reason this request is before the Plan Commission and ultimately the Common Council. If we were in a situation where the request was to go a 0 side yard setback for parking and it was abutting another development, I definitely would understand the hesitancy with that. But here it is simply creating a lot line through the parking lot, dividing creating the green parcel and the blue parcel. That is the only reason for that particular request. The scope of the project is not changing at all. It will not impact neighboring developments or this development whatsoever.
I'm
Those two
just
phases be
also-
done at this different time?
I'm sorry?
Lot 1, or the green and the blue, will those be done at different times or still paved at the same time?
It's already paved. You
it's
can see
already
the
paved.
picture here at the bottom. This is that parking lot where the lot line, the invisible lot line will go, splitting green on the left and blue on the right. So that parking lot is
They
paved
paved then,
already.
okay.
It's
Yeah.
already there, yeah.
It's just that building A4 is not built yet. Yep. It's an odd circumstance. And I think that given the reasoning for it, I think that it is not necessarily concerning because it will not impact any other developments nearby or landscaping buffers or anything like that.
The fire department have any problems with that?
They did not. That's why they're not here in attendance tonight. They had 0 comments on all projects. Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No questions. Thank you.
Questions down there?
I have a question, actually. So I'm not sure if it's to you or Christie. Have you ever considered to have it on an angle? Maybe that will provide some sort of a distance more than 0? If you have it on 45-degree angle, those parking?
We retained Excel Engineering to tackle this project for us, and they worked with staff, and this is what they came up with. You know, I'm just the developer. I'm not a technical person. So I went to the experts and the authorities and asked them to come up with a solution, and this is what they came up with.
If the line were moved east or west any further, then you would probably run into setback problems with the building. And the parking lot would be less impactful than building setbacks not being met.
Yeah, because if you put it on an angle for the green, like 45-degree angle to the, I don't see where the north arrow is, but to the opposite.
North
of
is
each
up.
oth- Yeah, to the opposite of each other, the 45-degree angles, so you might have the setback that you want. But anyway, that's a thought that you can check with your engineer. You might have that. It's a big possibility, but again, it's just a suggestion.
Well, they've had the plans redone to work with the 0. So they're asking for our approval on it.
I know, just a thought here. But other than, even 0 is fine. I think it's not a big deal. 5 or 0, doable either way.
Alrighty. Anyone
Yes,
else?
I guess why I
Steve?
brought up the parking lot being asphalted is even though there's that line there, the whole lot is asphalted already, so people
Right.
coming in and out of stalls are still gonna be able to use that whole asphalt to get in and out, correct?
Yes, it's an invisible line no one will know
Yes, okay.
exists. Yep, exactly. Just on paper.
Yep,
Yeah.
gotcha.
And the ownership is the same on all 4 parcels.
No questions, thank you.
I do have another question. So what if the ownership does change for those 2, and how is that handled?
They would just enter into cross-access easement agreements, which would have been the same situation with Lot 1 and Lot 2.
Thank you.
Alrighty.
Motion?
Yeah, motion then, please.
Okay. Other question?
Someone have a question?
Okay. Seifert moves that the Plan Commission recommends to the Common Council that the amended planned unit development and conditions and restrictions after the properties at 2676 West Red Oak Lane, 2637, 2668, 2616, 2617, 2548, and 2521 West Maple Leaf Lane, and 8126, 8140, 8159, and 8142 South Oak Orchard Way be approved.
Hannah seconds.
Roll call.
Hannah, aye.
Bouch, aye.
Chinsky, aye.
Guzekowski, aye.
Seifert, aye.
Chandler, aye.
Alrighty. Thank you, everyone. Go on to 4B, the certified survey map. Review certified survey map submitted by David Decker, Decker Properties, and Devin Winter, Excel Engineering, to divide the Oaks at 8100 multifamily development property located at 2676 South Red Oak Lane.
Thank you, Alderperson Guzekowski. So this item before you is the actual splitting of Lot 1 as it is today into two parcels, which would become Lot 1 and Lot 2. Both parcels meet the zoning code requirements for size, and this item would go before the Common Council at that same second December meeting.
Pretty straightforward on this one. Questions or comments?
No questions, thank you.
Questions?
Comments down there?
No questions.
Then we need a motion.
Christine moved that the Plan Commission recommends to the Common Council that the certified survey map submitted by David Decker, Decker Properties, Inc., and David Winter Excels Engineering, Inc., to divide the Oaks at 8100 multifamily development property located at 2676 West Red Oak Lane, 2637, 2668, 2616, 2617, 2548, and 2521 West Maple Leaf Lane, and 8159 South Orchard Way be approved with the following condition. One, that all technical corrections, including but not limited to spelling errors, minor coordinate geometry corrections, and corrections required for compliance with the municipal code and Wisconsin statutes are made prior to recording.
Seifert seconds.
Roll call.
And
Beginning with Bouch.
Steve.
Bouch, aye.
Kipchinsky, aye.
Guzekowski, aye.
Seifert, aye.
Chandler, aye.
Hannah, aye.
Alrighty, C, certified survey map. Review a certified survey map for parcels at Oaks at 8100.
Thank you, Alderperson Guzekowski. This item is regarding the eastern lot, which is Lot 2 of CSM number 9404. The proposal is to split that into Lot 1 and Lot 2. Again, the size of the parcels meets the minimum standards of the PUD and the RM1 zoning district. Staff recommends that the Plan Commission recommend approval to the Common Council.
Like this cleans everything up. Comments or questions, anyone?
No questions, thank you.
No questions.
Then motion, beginning with Ashley.
Seifert moves that the Plan Commission recommends to the Common Council after the certified survey map submitted by David Decker Properties Incorporated and Divine Winter Excel Engineering Incorporated to divide the Oaks at 8100 multifamily development property located at 8126, 8140, and 8142 South Orchard Way be approved with the following condition. One, that all technical corrections, including but not limited to spelling errors, minor coordinate geometry corrections, and the corrections required for compliance with the municipal code and Wisconsin statute are made prior to recording.
Hannah seconds.
Kipchinsky, aye.
Guzekowski, aye.
Seifert, aye.
Chandler, aye.
Hannah, aye.
Bouch, aye.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Alrighty. 4D. Review site plans for a modification to land north of Aldi distribution facility.
Thank you, Alderperson Guzekowski. The item before you is again, items D, E, and F are all related, but we will take them separately. I will start off with a site plan application to make some modifications to the property north of the existing Aldi distribution buildings and north of the addition that will be taking place here. The properties are zoned a combination of a few things: M1 manufacturing, floodway, and there's one parcel zoned RS single family, which we'll talk about in a bit here. But first, let's focus on the modification to the site plan and the berm location. And with that, I'm going to do things a little bit differently. I'm going to actually turn it over to the engineer to explain the request and why the request is before you for consideration. And they have presented a few slides, and I will turn it to them.
Okay. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Richard Suki. I'm with AM King Construction, the contractor on the Aldi project. Tonight with me is Mark Seidel with Pinnacle Engineering, the civil engineer. We are resubmitting the site plan for approval due to the fact that our original plan of hauling off all excess material from the site for this project kind of fell through a little bit past halfway, and the site that was taking the excess fill no longer needs it. So we have some remaining fill that we need to remain on site, and we had to resubmit the plans for that. So with that, I'll hand it over to Mark to kind of explain what we had previously versus what.
Hi, Mark Seidel, Pinnacle Engineering Group, 20725 Watertown Road in Brookfield. Play a slideshow here. Fine. So I think as Richard said here, the previous design intent, I just wanted to touch on it real quick. The existing berm and farm field was to be left intact to the north. That we had a user, a large development that was willing to accept fill material, which was a win-win situation for everybody. Some other things here, just to highlight the existing tree line along the north property line with the residential neighborhood was to be left intact as well. Next slide. As Richard said, there is about 100,000 yards of dirt that remains on site, and our lovely user decided to stop taking material. So now we are trying to find a home for that. So instead of it being an eyesore of a big hill or a big pile, we're going to shape it into a nice berm that'll be aesthetically pleasing and actually shade the neighbors and provide a bigger, larger line of sight disruption. So some other just things on the slideshow here. So there's a swale proposed along the north property line, and that existing tree line also remains intact. So we prepared for you guys tonight a couple cross-sectional views. So on the left side, you'll see a previous design. So that was the approved design that went forth previously. And then on the right side is the proposed new design. So on this, you'll see that on the right side, the proposed design, there's a taller berm, and it actually limits the line of sight from the neighboring properties to the north even greater. So before you could see at least the top bit of the building, and now you won't be able to see. And then again, the second one, now this is the northwest view of the site. So again, just highlighting kind of the line of sight and what's being be proposed here today. So in all, it's a 12 to 17 foot berm, depending on where you are and the existing topo. But it's a rather large berm and will help kind of complete that line of sight we've been talking about. So with that, I think that's it. Have any questions? I'd be happy to answer those.
I have a question about drainage. How are you planning to handle the drainage on that situation so you don't get onto the people's property?
Yep, great comment. So we worked with staff to develop a swale design along the north property line. Not sure if you have the same slide up in front of you or not, but there is a swale along the north property line that's set back about 30 to 40 feet. So it's far enough off the properties that we're not disturbing the neighbors, but any water that is being directed north towards them gets intercepted by the swale and goes east to the detention pond. So we're intercepting everything before it would ever get to the neighboring property. There is an existing swale that was out there, but we are beefing it up, and we worked with staff to come up with a design. I want to say it was 2 feet deep and 5 feet wide at the bottom, something like that. So it's a rather robust swale that'll, I'll argue, never fill up.
I do have a question. Where did that dirt come from?
So as part of the approved plan and the expansion kind of gets built into the hill. So it's from the excavation of the existing hill to put the building and the ring road around.
On site, it's,
So the original building, this is what's the excess dirt that come from. So instead of hauling it away and costing too much money, you're just using it to build a berm and
Like I said, we had a user that was willing to take material, about halfway through they stopped. So now instead of hauling off with large costs, we think it's actually a better plan and obstructs the neighbor's view even more.
So the
because-
picture at the bottom, this is standing in the Aldi parking lot that is on the west side of the existing building. And the addition is going to go kind of where that white trailer and that green trailer, or excuse me, gray trailer are. So that's the hill that he's referring to that kind of had to be cut into for the building addition.
Yeah, I pass a lot by 13th Street and I see a construction entrance site. So this is part of the construction area or, right?
Yeah, there's I believe one, is it one or two access off of 13? It's just for the Hall Road.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
all that's out there. It's just temporary, not permanent.
Okay, can you go back to the,
I think that's the entrance that you're used to seeing there, the construction entrance off of 13th.
maybe? The other one is more on a hill, just across from McDonald's. But anyway, is there a driveway off of Ryan or I misunderstand here? Or this is off of 13? This is where the truck is coming off from, Access Drive?
There's no new driveways. As part of the previous approved plans, I believe we modified the entry on 13th, and we had a traffic study to back that up, but we're not proposing any new entries or anything with this approval.
So if you go back, the Access Drive here, where is it going?
Oh, that is the I call it the ring road that goes around the
Okay.
facility itself.
Okay. Okay, that's it, thank you.
Have you talked to the neighbors north of you on that, of what you plan on doing? Just so they're aware of what's going
they were
on?
invited.
What?
They're here.
I know they're here, but
They've been kept informed along the way as a process. What
Okay.
happened earlier on in this process, in the build process, is the city never notified the neighbors of all the project. So I had to get involved in the middle of summer when it started. So now now the neighbors are definitely up to speed.
thank you.
Yeah, if you have a question, come on up. And could you put the slide back up there that said, the 3 changes that are going, right, yep, this is it, perfect. Thank you.
My name is Jeff Bloom at 1117 West York Street. My question is regarding the dirt that was initially moved right along the north property line. I don't hear anything about what is going to be done with that now. The existing berm, more dirt on top and whatever, making that bigger, that's fine. Are they going to move the dirt that they dumped on the north properties before anybody knew what was going on? Is that going to be removed? Is there going to be any further work done on that?
Yeah, so the pile of dirt that he's referring to is the stockpiled topsoil that we had to strip from the site before we could before we could start reshaping the hill. So we stripped all the topsoil, and that's where we stockpiled it. And I think that's what caused a lot of these issues. We probably should have stockpiled it somewhere else. But yes, that stockpiled topsoil will eventually be respread back across the rest of the site. and it will not be there at the end of the project.
Any other questions out there? Okay. What does everyone think here of the proposed changes here?
I have no questions.
No more. No
I
more.
do have a question. So will this be permanent or this is temporary until you find a new customer to remove all this dirt?
Yeah, the new site plan that we submitted would be permanent.
Oh, it'll be permanent, okay. And then I do have another question for the city. So is there a requirement, berm height or maximum that it should be, especially with residents in close proximity?
No, there's not. I mean, if anything, I hope, I'm not speaking out of turn here, but I do believe the residents would be benefiting from this because they don't have to see a warehouse. They'll see the landscaping, so.
Yeah, that's the whole point of the reason for the redo and having the berm made a little more robust and beefier. This will definitely benefit the neighbors.
And so if it's bigger, so that means more water goes towards the residents. But you have now this drainage or the swell that would catch a lot of this and it will drain into the pond, so it wouldn't make it to the residents.
You are correct. We do have the drainage swale, but I do want to correct one thing.
Oh, okay.
Just because you have a bigger swale doesn't actually mean you're going to have more water going to the north. This is actually a stabilized condition where you'll have grasses or native landscaping, which, in all honesty, has less runoff than if you had a farmed field. So I'd make the argument you actually are going to have less runoff. So from a farmed condition, when it's let's call it row crops, you generally don't get a lot of infiltration, right? So with this being actually, let's call it a seed of some sort, it's actually going to be better.
You have a stormwater report that you submit when you do the grading?
The stormwater plan was submitted as part of our original approvals. There's no alterations to it, so we're good to go.
Anything? Ashley?
Nothing further from engineering. We'd been working with the designer and the contractor throughout the past couple months. So everything looks good. As mentioned, the drainage is following the existing drainage pattern that exists prior to, and if anything, you're just making it a little bit bigger. So no issues at all from engineering.
More questions?
Okay. No questions? Then motion starting with Fred.
Christine moved that the Plan Commission approves the site plan submitted by Adam Castro, Aldi Inc., and Richard Saki, AM King, for proposed modifications to the Aldi distribution property located at 9150 South 13th Street.
Alter second.
Roll call. Guzekowski, aye.
Seepard, aye.
Chandler, aye.
Hannah, aye.
Balch aye.
Pshinsky, aye.
Alrighty, before you review a request, for site rezone, okay. Rezone request for the property located at 9260 South 13th Street.
Thank you, Alderperson Guzekowski. This is simply a cleanup item. There's one parcel that Aldi owns out of their complex of 5 parcels. It's about 1.5 acres in site, and the proposal is to rezone it from single family to manufacturing. So this is the zoning map. The purple identifies manufacturing. And the blue that you can kind of see going through the site here is floodway. And so the parcels, the 5 parcels that Aldi owns are highlighted in the black boundary. And then there's this one standalone. It's a parcel that Aldi purchased in the 90s, and it just was never rezoned. And, you know, it's just, there's actually a pond here today. It's part of their complex. The next item is to combine these 5 parcels. If you were to combine the 5, you would end up with a split zoned parcel, one parcel zone manufacturing and single family, which is very poor planning practice. So this is simply just a kind of after the fact cleanup that should have been done honestly 30 years ago. So with that, a public hearing would be held, the second meeting, council meeting in December. Plan commission staff recommends the plan commission recommend common council approval. Oh, and it does meet the comprehensive land use map. That this whole complex is identified as manufacturing industrial. So no need to amend the comp plan, just rezone one parcel.
Okay, thank you. Any comments or questions?
No questions.
I do have a question. So is it both green spaces that's being rezoned or just the one? Or let me say it differently. Are both green spaces owned by Aldi? If you go back to the prior one? Yeah, are both of those owned by Aldi or just the one?
It's not, there's only one. This is not highlighted. These are single family homes. It's just this one parcel. It's kind of an island surrounded by manufacturing.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
No questions.
Okay. No there, okay. Then we need a motion on 4E.
Steve Welch,
Seifert moves that the Plan Commission recommends to the Common Council that the request submitted by Adam Castle, Aldi Incorporated, to rezone the property located at 9260 South 13th Street from RS1 Single Family Residential District to M1 Manufacturing District be approved.
Hannah seconds.
Roll call.
Seifert, aye.
Chandler, aye.
Hannah, I.
Welch, aye.
Chinsky, aye.
Guzekowski, aye. All right. 4F, we're on here. Review a certified survey map. Request a combine multiple parcels certified survey map.
Thank you, Alderperson Guzekowski. So this, as a condition of the 2021 building addition, one of the conditions was that the next time there is a modification to the property, to the Aldi property, that the 5 parcels be combined, again, just cleaning up some old mess, and over time properties were acquired by Aldi. So the certified survey map before you combines these 5 parcels highlighted in yellow boundary to be one consistent parcel. And then a little bit of, there's some jogging of property lines along 13th Street. So the property lines will actually be brought interior, as they should not be going out to the middle of the road. So therefore the certified survey map does end up dedicating a little bit of land to the right of way. It's a very common thing when you have these jagged property lines to just dedicate it as right of way, not part of the parcel. So with that, this would go before the Common Council, the second meeting in December.
Alrighty. Pretty straightforward. Looks like we're cleaning up the property and having one map for that.
No
Okay.
questions.
Nothing? Tony?
Questions?
No questions.
No questions.
Then a motion.
My turn? All right. Steve Welch recommends that the Plan Commission, or the Plan Commission recommends to the Common Council that the certified survey map submitted by Adam Castle, Aldi Incorporated, and Richard Sakia, King, for the combination of multiple parcels at the Aldi distribution facility located at 9150, 9210, 9260, 9342, and 9440 South 13th Street be approved with the following conditions: that all technical corrections, including but not limited to spelling errors, minor coordinate geometry corrections, and corrections required for compliance with the municipal code and Wisconsin statutes are made prior to recording.
Seifert seconds.
Roll call.
Chandler, aye.
Anna, I.
Ouch, aye.
Chinsky, aye.
Guzekowski, aye.
Seifert, aye.
And, any announcements? Nothing, Christie? Okay. Anyone have anything to announce?
I have a question, actually. What is our meetings for December? Do we have any?
December 10th, just the one meeting in December.
That's it?
One.
Yeah. Okay.
The other
December
one would fall on Christmas Eve. If anyone wants to come, they can come, but I won't be here.
I won't be, that's why I'm asking, because I'm not gonna be here.
In November, is there a meeting in 2 weeks?
This is the only meeting in November, because the next one would fall Thanksgiving week as well.
So next Tuesday, there is no meeting?
In 2 Tuesdays, there's no meeting. So the next Plan Commission meeting will be December 10th.
Okay, so the 19th.
Correct,
One
there is
more
not.
meeting
No,
the rest
not
of
the
the year?
19th, that would be council. It would have been
Right?
the,
One more meeting the rest of the year, Christie?
one more the rest of the year. So the next meeting would have been November 26th. Next week is council on the 19th.
Read my calendar.
Thanksgiving's late
There's
this
a
year,
meeting
so
the 26th.
that falls on Thanksgiving week, so we are not having a meeting.
Yeah.
The 10th, that's it.
All right.
So what are we gonna do now? We got all this time off.
Right, I think we need to make a motion to adjourn and then,
Okay. I move to adjourn the meeting at 6:45.
Chandler, seconds.
roll call.
Anna, I.
Ouch, aye.
Chinsky, aye.
Guzekowski, aye.
Seifert, aye.
Chandler, aye.